Frank still around?
He was going to be here, he said.
Trying to. Carrie, if Frank is still. I want to talk to him.
Please do. I need to know what they sound like.
The budget ones are bad too. Are you looking for Frank? He's right there.
This is Godzilla.
Okay. It's not going to kill me.
I lost it. I had it with me, then I lost it, then Frank found it.
Oh no, Godzilla.
Oh. More of my blue oyster cult. Where did you get these names?
Who knows?
Blue oyster cult.
Plainer Godzilla.
Who is? Oh, he's pissed?
Well, yeah, I told him, I said, I'm not gonna approve the minutes. He said he wasn't. You two are funny. Did you request the Blue Oyster?
I did
I was
not.
playing Blue Oyster Cult. Following up on a previous agenda item.
He wants me to learn to love them.
Jimmy loves that song.
Does he?
We've gotten introduced Jimmy to like the old,
Having a real
the
bad
old
hair day.
original Godzilla movies with the guy in the
Oh,
bad
okay.
rubber suit kicking over models of Tokyo.
That wicked flame.
Wow.
The Flash Gordon flame.
Yeah. If I can get him introduced to Doctor Who, I'll be all set.
But obviously, that's a problem.
What's
for all
not
of
on
us.
here?
All right.
Wait, it's amended now. It doesn't matter now. It says amended. I wonder if this is the content. Maybe it says amended now. That's it?
Which one are you guys talking about?
Call the meeting to order. Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Here.
Trustee Dodge.
Hi. Here.
Trustee
Yes.
Guerra.
Here.
Trustee Ruzick. Trustee Caldrello.
Here.
Trustee Carroll. Mayor Pico.
Here.
Please rise for the pledge.
Oh, I see.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the August 6, 2018 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Guerra.
I move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of August 6, 2018. Second.
Does anybody have any changes to the minutes or comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
could we postpone the approval of these minutes? I've got a lot of questions about different items and wording and things that were said in the written draft of these minutes.
Trustee Guerra.
I would agree. I think the minutes need to have a little more clarification and detail on some of the topics.
Anybody else with comments?
Just as we look at the minutes, it's my recollection, and correct me if I'm wrong on this one, we had talked about moving to a simpler form of minutes. Basically, the item, its title, the final vote, and then any comments, we would refer back to the audio, to the videotapes. So just, I guess the question broadly for all of us is if we go down the pathway to kind of make this a more streamlined process, especially since we're taping, why aren't we doing that?
Any other comments? Yeah, so I too have concerns about the minutes and how they were written. So I would agree that we should postpone this to the next board meeting.
Do you want to withdraw the motion? Do you want a motion at the table?
Yep.
Move to table. Second.
You'll make a motion to postpone.
All right, I'll make a motion to postpone the approval of the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of August 6, 2018. Second.
And the other thing, we need to amend that motion to include is the specific date, and I guess that brings the question, is it going to be Labor Day, or will it be September 16th?
It's not critical, you do the motion.
No, I
17th.
don't think we need to do that. Do we have to do that specific?
That's what our attorney advised, was to give
All
a
right,
date
then-
certain.
If you're going to postpone it, it has to be to a specific date. If you table it, then that's indefinite.
The Tuesday after Labor Day.
Yeah, to postpone to September 6th.
September 4th is.
What is the date?
To September 4th would be the next meeting.
September 4th.
So there's a motion to postpone the minutes, the approval of the minutes till September 4th, 2018. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Guerra,
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick,
Aye.
Trustee Fenton,
Aye.
Trustee Dodge,
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello,
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Approval of August 13, 2018 regular meeting minutes, or special meeting minutes.
Make a motion,
Trustee Ruzick?
move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees special meeting of August 13, 2018.
Second.
Any questions or comments on these minutes?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Dodge?
just a couple of comments, and I don't know if we can correct this, or it's another issue where we want to just to sit on. We kind of had a wide-ranging discussion on options, and, you know, I remember that I specifically said early in the meeting, all of this was hypotheticals for simulation purposes as we were doing a finance exercise. And so I wanted to make sure that some of the essence of these comments as recorded here, it doesn't speak as clearly to the fact that we were talking through options while we were doing the math. So I don't know if we want to sit on this, or do we want me to get specific corrections back to the clerk's office? What's the preference of the board?
I would say to sit on this as well. Are there any other comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Calandrello?
I just think I agree we can table it. My this question is we kind of been going back and forth with minutes, so I think maybe we need to start having a standard that we could help facilitate. So it sounds like we almost want, do we want verbatim minutes? Do we want nothing? It's just, I feel like we maybe should set a standard so we could solve this minute issue or concern.
Well, any other comments? No. So my comment is we want them to be accurate, and I will agree that my comments were on page 2. It was a potential revenue discussion, broadly speaking. Also, we agreed as a board that staff was expected to match any potential revenues with matching expense cuts. That was something we talked about. I think Trustee Dodge says 2 to 1, but we all said 1 to 1. We also discussed the 5-year requirement to get us healthy for 5 years and what that number was as well. I didn't see any of that stuff in there. So I think the critical thing is we want them to be accurate, whether it says refer to audio or it's verbatim, but whatever's in there should be accurate.
Do we want to have a quick discussion on this now, or bring this back up to the board at a different level? Because if I had my druthers, since we've invested in technology and we want to save money and make this easier, just the minutes should be as clean as what we'd originally proposed, which is, here's the item, there's the discussion, there's, you know, refer to the audio for the full discussion, and then it's recording of the vote and get on with it. Strip a lot of time and staff time out of the process of doing minutes. Especially if we are okay, Ken, with then the audio being essentially the record of the discussion. Because if I've always understood minutes, the final action is ultimately what matters from a board, correct?
The minutes have to reflect whatever official action took place at that meeting, and there's no reason why you can't refer to the audio.
Especially because you're going to record, it was a 6-0 vote or a 7-0 vote or
Correct.
whatnot, and then just clean up the minutes, and, you know, people will have the videotape and the audio tape, and it's going to be cross-referenced, correct, Frank?
Correct. With the Granicus online, you'll be able to reference those real time as well as the agendas outlined, so there won't be any media packets that'll have to go out either.
So that would be my suggestion for the board. Excuse me.
So I'll entertain a motion to postpone the approval of these minutes until September 4th as well.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
So the motion been moved and seconded. Call a roll.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Guerra?
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrell?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Baseball for All raffle license?
Chairman,
Trustee Guerra.
I move to approve issuing a raffle license to Baseball for All to conduct a raffle at their fundraising event on Thursday, September 20th, 2018, at 94 West Restaurant.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Guerra?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrell?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Mike
Aye.
Carroll just walked in. so I don't know if
Sorry,
that's-
Mike Carroll.
Raffle license approval, say aye. Excuse me.
1 second. '40th Annual Orland Open Spelling Bee.
Mr. Smith, want to bring the microphone to him?
Brought a real school bell, Hazel Green School, 115th and Laramie, that when I retired, I kept. This was a real school bell in a two-room school, which I'm sure had many schools for these, which are the foundation of our study. You all have the new Orland Open Spelling Bee. Again, we're doing it, and we are doing it in a special year. This is a Illinois bicentennial event. Illinois' bicentennial year is 2018, and we're already in it. Every trustee sitting here today, and every trustee in the past 15 years has been a judge in this contest. So when it says it's co-sponsored by the village, it's more than co-sponsored. You people help make it work, and Margie Owens and her crew over there, in terms of promotion, are just super in aiding to get the message out, especially in this high-tech area where the spelling bee master, me, hasn't even gotten to the dinosaur. Behind me, Steve Lang, last year's champion. Kim Doyle, 2011 champion. Todd Nokum was a judge 40 years ago in the first contest, and then
Do the math, I'm old.
and then was was a judge. It was a college for at least 20 years. The two ladies here were here before, you met them. They actually run the contest. I get all the accolades. They do all the work. They do a new list every year. Try doing a 600-word spelling list without being repetitive. And also, they run the contest, get 6 callers. Amy Goble and Margie Burnett. This is going to be their last event, but the church will have 2 able substitutes next year. I would ask you for something I haven't asked before. You'll notice the posters You notice the big black print, the biggest? Wanted spellers. We used to have over 100 every year, for more than a dozen years. We actually went down to 58, we're up to 78. Please, you all speak to organizations, you all are in different groups. If everybody in this room right now got one more speller, we'd make 100. Encourage people. 8 years old to senior citizens. A 78-year-old, Mrs. Foley, this one, so it's all the way up the high side. A 13-year-old one in the 3rd year. 2 college students at one. In 1 year, all 3 winners were immigrants from Mexico, Hong Kong, and Ireland, which is a little wrinkle today. And again, thank you to the village for co-sponsoring it and making it a public event. This year, 5th year, 40th, we're having it at the Civic Center. And so that we've got plenty of room over there. We had 153 one time. So that building can handle it. So again, thank you for your continued support. And we'll see some of you on October 14th. For the audience who doesn't have copies. That's it. And we'll see some of you there. Let me know if you're going to be a judge. That girl already has. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you very much. We look forward to it. It's October 14th at the Civic Center.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Dodge.
Quick question for Carrie or for Margie, which is, how much do we do, or are we doing everything we might in terms of awareness for this with our social media? Oh, okay.
We push it, and we will continue to push it.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
And we have these. Mr. Smith, good to see you once again.
Yep.
We'll see you on the 14th.
Thanks.
Consent agenda?
Consent agenda, item A, payroll for August 10th, 2018. Item B, accounts payable from August 7th to August 20th, 2018. Item C, Harris Enterprise Resource Planning. Item D, Laserfish Electronic Document Management Software. Item E, disposal of certain seized vehicles at public auction. Item F, reciprocal reporting system intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Orland Park and the Board of Education of Orland School District 135 agreement. Item G, Veterans Park Court Repair Contract Agreement. Item H, amend the Arena Americas contract for the 2018 Taste of Orland Park approval. Item I, Winter Spring Recreation Program offering list, subject to change based on final 2019 budget approval and contractual payment approval. Item J, Cruise Education Center 8 Edition Ordinance. Item K, Cruise Education Center Edition Intergovernmental Agreement. Item L, Bluff Point Subdivision Ordinance. Item M, Stellwagen Landscape Restoration Contract Adjustment. Are there any items to remove from the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Ruzick?
I would ask that item I be removed from the consent agenda,
Okay.
just for a couple of comments.
All right. Any others? I would ask for items D, L, and M to be removed. I have a couple of questions. So I'll entertain a motion for consent agenda, items A through C, items E through H, items J and K.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Carroll?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Excuse me, you didn't call me.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Sorry, I missed that, trustee Fenton.
Item D, Laserfish electronic document management software.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Ruzick.
I move to approve the purchase of Laserfish Avante software platform, first-year annual maintenance, implementation, and training from TKB Associates of Mokina, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $32,100.
Second.
And I took it off, so I'll ask the question. So in the tabulation pages, it has the checklist of what, that everyone met the proposal requirements, but there's no dollar amount on any of these. So the only dollar amount we know is who was selected. So what were the bid amounts for those other two?
They varied anywhere between 25,000 and 30,000, and the reason why we went with the local vendor was because it's one, support, and two, we would have them in our back pocket if we needed them. So one of the other vendors is in New York, and one of the other vendors was also local, Proven IT. We can add it and table it for this conversation if you'd like to see those tabulations, or we can show them at another time.
I'm comfortable with the rationale. It just, we should have the tabulations in here when we do it.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Ruzick.
was that a mistake that it was just left off?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
So I'll take the ownership on that also.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Call the roll.
Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Item I, 2019 Winter Spring Recreation Program Offering List.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Calandrello.
I move to approve the recommended 2019 winter spring programs, which are subject to change based on final 2019 budget approval.
Second.
Questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Ruzick.
So my comment was just that some of the, and I understand this is all subject to budget approval, but some of the programs that appeared to have been left in there are programs there where we had maybe 0 or 1 participants. Is that something that's going to be?
If I could chime in a little bit, maybe Carrie can help a little bit too. Some of the, Carrie, why don't you go first, and then I'll chime in with some
Well,
details.
based on the information that Nancy shared with us, is that we do evaluate all these programs, and we hope that they make tweaks to them and they make adjustments to them to see if we can continue to get additional enrollment in them. Also, a lot of them that are listed there don't have a lot of expenses tied to it. If it's a more expensive program, we have lower enrollment, then obviously we're going to eliminate those and review those in a more detailed manner. But they do go through all of these, but again, they look at them and they evaluate each one on its own basis, and then they also plan on additional things they can do before we're ready to move forward with some of these programs to see if they can increase the participation rates in some of those. And again, a lot of those that are on there, they don't have a high dollar amount tied to them.
So I guess my only comment would be that if we could have this during the budget process.
Right, and actually that was brought up previously at the last budget meeting as well, I think by Trustee Fenton as well.
Thank you.
And just to piggyback, next for the budget, we're going to have all the revenues and all the expenses for all the programs that they're providing for next year and this year. And just to talk about some of the programs, they're independent contractors, so they're not costing the Village of Orland Park anything other than possibly space. So, and they also compare, so if maybe a program didn't do as well as we would like, they move around dates and times and location, comparing us to other towns too who have those programs. So it's an annual process that they review. So, but I can tell you wholeheartedly that Nancy and her crew look into every program and how they can fix it or cancel it or whatnot. They usually, I think it's a 3-year cycle, or they try 3 times kind of thing, usually for most programs.
Any other comments or questions? So I echo trustee Ruzik's comments in that, this is a preliminary pending budget, number one, and number two, having had some programs that I participate in canceled because of lack of participation, where it's above 0, it's above 2, and it was appropriate to cancel them, don't get me wrong. We definitely need to look at that because, well, there may not be a big cost, Director Freiling, there could be a big opportunity cost because that person could be doing something else during that time. So that's something we have to be mindful of, is that, well, it may not cost us that much, that other person could be doing something else. Any other comments or questions? Call the roll.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Bluff Point subdivision ordinance.
Mr. Chairman, could I get an ordinance number?
5323.
I move to pass ordinance number 5323 entitled Ordinance Granting a Special Use with Modifications, Bluff Point, 16900 to 17000, Wolf Road.
Second.
And since I took this off the consent, I'll go first here. Section 3, item E, Carrie, or Director Freiling. As you know, we've been in a lot of discussions with Bluff Point, and I'm pretty concerned because it says, including but not limited to roadway, that he's demonstrated the public facilities and services, including but not limited to roadways, park facilities, police and fire protection, hospital and medical service, drainage system, refuge, blah, blah, and schools. Provide ingress and egress, to designate to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets, and that is still open, that is not completed yet.
That is true. So the ordinance is one of the last things that we ask the board to approve, and we bring this forward. That's why you're seeing it so late in the process, because we've intentionally held this ordinance back, because there's been concerns and things that we needed to work through with this particular project. We believe now that we've worked through all of them with the exception of one remaining issue, which is an IDOT permit that is in the process of being granted by IDOT, that we feel comfortable in moving forward the adoption of the special use. What the ordinance is tonight is the adoption of the special use for the entire subdivision. We still have the development agreement that's already been approved, executed, and recorded against the property. And we also are holding back final engineering approval until such time as well, because final engineering approval, as you know, Mayor, includes the completion of those improvements as well. So this is more of a technical thing, the bow sort of on the special use ordinance, but we have all those other things we're still working through.
Does not approving this tonight impact them in any way?
It does not.
Okay, then I will speak for myself. Given the issues we've had on this particular subdivision, I would just soon wait to pass it until final engineering. That's just my own personal opinion. Any other comments or questions?
So just to make sure I understand, Mayor Pico, so it doesn't materially impact them getting the rest of the things that need to get done. It's just a way to keep some leverage?
Right. So we, our leverage, the leverage that we still have is through, obviously, the development agreement that runs for 7 years against the property. In addition to that leverage, we have the IDOT permit, which we're a party to, because it's within the Village of Orland Park, Wolf Road is. And then we also, we have not yet stamped and approved the final engineering plans because we have not received the IDOT permit for Wolf Road. So those are the things that are still outstanding. This is more of a legal ordinance approval by the board, which is, again, we wait to hold this back until we believe that we are very close to getting all those things in line. There's no reason. If you wanted to defer it, you can do so until we have those things. We understand they're in process. This is more of a technical legal requirement.
So I'll ask the question slightly differently. This doesn't damage the developer's interest in any way,
It does not.
and it just is another thing for us to attain some leverage, correct?
Right. Ultimately, this ordinance has to be approved, otherwise they don't have zoning.
I don't have a problem delaying, but that's just me.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Guerra?
could we ask the committee chair for her take on this, since she's been involved in?
So, Mayor
Trustee
Pico,
Rizzo.
I have not been involved with any of the negotiations regarding Bluff Point. As you're aware, I haven't been involved, so I didn't know this was an issue. So I guess what I would ask is, it's standard that we
It is.
approve this subject to final engineering.
It is.
Which is a much bigger hurdle than this ordinance.
Right.
So do we ever not approve the special?
No,
use?
well, ultimately, always the ordinance has to be approved for the subdivision,
Right,
otherwise.
right, no, I
yeah.
understand that, but don't we always approve this before we approve final engineering?
We prefer to have final engineering approved before. We typically will bring it, and the reason we're bringing it tonight is because the only remaining issue that is left with Bluff Point revolves around the issuance of an IDOT permit. All the final engineering requirements that we have ourselves, as it relates to our engineering codes and our local requirements, have been met now through final engineering. The one thing that we are still waiting for to kind of tie that all up is the final IDOT permit. So the mayor is correct, that is still outstanding. But all of our other requirements have been met as it relates to final engineering.
How soon do you think you're going to get final engineering approval?
I wish I knew. Tomorrow, I would pray. But I don't know. It really rests 100% solely in the hands of IDOT. So it's hard to tell. We're hoping that it is soon, though, so that they can commence construction of the public improvements on Wolf Road, which is the installation of the turn lanes and the culvert work that needs to still be done underneath Wolf Road before we get into the winter season.
So I guess I don't see a reason not to go ahead with it tonight, but, you know, if other board members feel strongly about that, I'm okay with it, but.
Mayor Pico, you want to just take a quick consensus? I mean, if the developer can't do anything until he gets final engineering, if this is in place and you get everything from IDOT in a week, then he could be ready to go in a week pending final engineering, or is it
Right.
not that fast?
So we have allowed him to start phase construction. If you drive out on Wolf Road today, you will see that there's been, all the public improvements, the pond, the roads, utilities are in today, and we've allowed him to do that as we approved phases of the final engineering. So we've also issued him to date 3 building permits for 3 model homes. The development agreement that's already been approved by the village board allows him to have up to 5 until such time those public improvements are in place. And so he's so far triggered 3 of those under the terms of the development agreement as well. So this is really, again, an overlay of the zoning and the subdivision approvals that you previously have provided to him, and subject to obviously the development agreement that's recorded against the property.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee
it
Ruzick?
seems to me this might be a little late to the game, the special use ordinance.
Well,
If what you're telling me the status of construction is, I mean.
this is still something that they legally have to get approval of, the
Right,
ordinance.
no, I understand.
Right,
It's just,
yeah.
it seems like he's already started. He's been issued 3 building permits, so.
Per the terms of development agreement, he
Yeah.
has 3 out of the
So-
5 issued.
So,
Any other questions or comments? Trustee Gura?
The final engineer, when he gets that approved, brings that in, that has to come to the board too before he.
No, it doesn't. Final engineering, you guys approved preliminary engineering at the time of the site plan, and at the time that, which was done well over a year ago. Final engineering then is approved administratively once all the permits have been issued, whether they're external permits or internal permits. And then we stamp those, Christopher Burke is our engineer of record. They stamp those plans, and then those are actually the ones that we keep forever to reference back to it. But final engineering does not come back to the village board. You approve preliminary engineering tied to the development agreement and tied to the original approvals that you approved to this.
So if we don't approve this tonight, we could be delaying.
This is not going to delay anything. This is really a legal requirement. The ordinance, the final adoption of the ordinance has to be done by the village board. Ken, you can help me out here. But it doesn't, it's not going to stop him from continuing to build his 3 homes. It won't stop him from getting an additional 2 permits. It is something that we are required to have this ordinance adopted, obviously, under the authority of the village board. But we have all those other layers of protections and all those other things that we are monitoring as this project moves forward. The final thing, the only thing right now, the mayor and I just had a meeting last week on this, is the IDOT permit. We are waiting for IDOT to issue the permit for Wolf Road.
So, Director Fradling, let me ask you this question. Do you think, based on our discussions with the developer, that there is a potential however, small potentially, that this could end up being litigated at some point.
Yes, I do.
Okay, now let me ask the attorney. Ken, if this does end up being litigated, does approving this tonight weaken our hand or strengthen our hand, or is it immaterial towards any kind of potential lawsuit?
Mr. Mayor?
I don't think it
Before-
adversely affects the village in approving it tonight. I think if there were litigation involved, it would hinge on the development agreement, which the developer has to comply with. No matter whether this ordinance is adopted or not, that development agreement has to be complied with. But he's not going to get his occupancy permits until the zoning, which is the special use is a part of the zoning, has to be approved by this board, and that's what this ordinance does.
Okay.
I think Carol had a comment.
Sure. Trustee Rizzo?
I was just going to ask him maybe not to answer that question publicly, but he went ahead and did it.
Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Calgelo.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Nay. Passes 6-1.
Stellwagen Landscape Restoration Contract Adjustment.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Rizzo?
I move to approve and amend the contract with Cardno, Inc. in the amount of $7,000 for an amount not to exceed $119,220.
Second.
Any questions or comments? So I had two comments on this, and some of this is due to my knowledge of the industry. Seems like a pretty steep price to pay for what, for bringing in a load of soil, of $2,900, given what soil costs. So not only that, the change order is $4,100, but we've approved, 70, this is for 73 or 7,000. So I guess if I could understand the differences there and then understand why it's $2,900 for one truckload spread over 5,000 square feet, or excuse me, I think it's, 5,000 square feet.
The reason we asked for the approval of the 7,000 tonight as opposed to the 4,100 was just in case something else came up. This work is currently being done out there as we speak for the restoration of the land, the 20 acres of the land. And Cardno is currently out there. They are the general contractor doing the work. And so when they identify these two projects, they include the installation of the erosion control blanket over the section of the prairie, and then a seeding of a small area. We requested their change order, and they gave it to us. It made sense to have them do it. If we had to mobilize someone else to come out and do it and get in and make those changes, it just wouldn't make sense to do it since they're already on site. So that's the reason we're recommending the change order. And again, the extra money was just in case something else comes up, so we didn't have to keep coming back to the Village Board for additional increases in the contract. This is the first and only change order that we do anticipate, but that's the reason why there's a contingency in there.
All right, because $2,900 for one truckload of soil is extremely high.
You would know that better than I. But again, they're the current contractor out there, and I'm sure there was a premium attached to it, but it makes sense they're already mobilized, already out there to do this work.
Trustee Carroll?
I'm just noting, because I don't know if you saw this page, it's the change order itself. The village is trucking in the load of soil. The 2,900 is for Cardno to grade and seed, install the erosion control blanket over that area, so.
It's worse. That's worse.
Yeah, well, it's,
I
what I'm
saw-
saying,
I
it's
did
all,
see
it's all,
that.
looks like it's all labor, is what I'm saying.
To the labor required for one truckload of soil is $2,900 is exorbitant by probably a factor of 6 or 7.
A factor of 6 or 7?
Yes.
Mayor Pico, I guess I don't have a problem giving staff the go-ahead, but I guess I would also say you guys got to get some answers
Right.
before the money's released.
All right.
hand it to them,
We can do that.
and we'll ask for some data afterwards.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? One of the things to Trustee Dodge's point is you could ask for a time and material count from them. That's what IDOT does, and ask for how much time was actually spent on it.
Okay, we'll do that.
Call the roll.
Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Nay.
Amend Title 7, Chapter 4, number of Class C liquor license.
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee
ordinance-
Ruzick.
Ordinance number, please.
I think it's 532.
5324.
I move to pass ordinance number 5324 entitled, an ordinance amending Title 7, Chapter 4 of the Orland Park Municipal Code regarding the available number of Class C liquor licenses issued by the Village of Orland Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mayor Pico,
Trustee Dodge.
I have no problem with this. I just had a quick question for staff about that particular vendor, so we could answer it after we vote.
About the vendor that,
Yeah, so
Mod Pizza,
Yeah, I
not a
mean,
business.
it's so one, I like Mod Pizza, right? And two, is that just a tough spot, a tough building? Was it, 14 other quick serve pizza places showed up at about the same time?
They did. I think that was kind of like when we had all the yogurt stores open up at the same time, and the mattress stores too, although we still have quite a few of those. But they opened at the same time some of their competitors did, and I just think that that combined with maybe their location could have been a problem. But I know they opened within 30 days of another establishment that's still open today, which is literally just right down the street from them as well.
Right, okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Nobody signed in.
Are there anybody here to speak? No? Trustee Fenton.
No comments.
Trustee Calandrello.
No comments, thank you.
Trustee Ruzick.
No comments, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Guerra.
I would like to congratulate Ann Ross, who turned 100 on August 10th. Her daughter is Debbie Ross, former president of Chamber of Commerce, and Ann has been an active member in Orland Park community for the 20 years she's resided here, including in St. Francis Church and community. So congratulations to her, and I will visit her shortly.
Very cool.
Trustee Carroll.
No comments.
Trustee Dodge.
Just one, the other day it was coming back into Orland, was one of those just so moments, kind of evening light, and I noticed that the effort and time and money that Orland Park put into improving the median in LaGrange Road really is starting to kind of come into its own. It looks great. And as some of you may know, with my other side project, I've seen a lot of towns lately in Illinois, and there's some things that I see that I wouldn't mind if we had, but more often than not, I just thank God we've done it well in Orland Park over these past 30 years building this town.
And the only thing I have is last night, the concert at Crescent Park was, there was probably 400 people there. A great showing, and a great job by staff on that as well. So it's a great evening for it as well. So encourage people when they see those concerts on Sunday night to come and see them. They're free. And we did have city barbecue, and then we also were serving beer and wine as well. So it was a nice evening. With that, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to go into executive session for A, approval of minutes, B, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or other dismissal of specific village employees.
Second.
Call a roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello. Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra. Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Pardon me, I'm going to reach and grab this.
Oh, shoot. Look at you that I didn't do it by you.
Hey, Dermot,